Hey everyone, so tonight I'm going to read you a little story which of course is inspired by Inside Out. The story is literally Inside Out, but this is my version of it. Now obviously there was a premiere we did one time on in February, but unfortunately we had to delete the video because unfortunately the screening was upside down for some reason. So yeah, no point in watching videos if you're upside down unless you really wanted to take Australian mode seriously. Anyway, let's hope this will be the right side up this time, and yeah, let's get on with the story. The year is 2025. Inside my head stands a group of emotions. There's Joy, an emotion who likes to be proud of me, himself, and his counterparts. He has blue hair and eyes, and wears a chill t-shirt. Then we have Sadness, a young boy who feels alone, but always has the others to cheer him up. Next, we have Anger, who looks like a mad rocker boy, who styles his hair like a surfer. Then there's Disgust, who, let's say, looks somewhat similar to Luigi, Mario's brother. And finally, Fear, who he's always here to protect and serve. The 5 emotions work as a team, always determining what sort of day and time has the right role for them. No matter what role they take, their job is always important. Whenever the time is right, they activate the console and get going. They always do a fantastic job. One night, in a dream, I went into my head to meet my own emotions. There I saw the 5 emotions at the console, and as it looks like it, they were going through a list, a schedule for who is doing dream duty. I knew I wanted to come up to them, but it's best if I let them finish first. So I stood by the window, looking out towards my long-term memory area. It's easy to say that I can remember a lot of things that happened in my extended lifetime. From just a small organism to being a human today, I really did see a lot. Yeah, so the type of dream which you actually do enter your mind, that's known as a lucid dream. Yeah, even if you're like asleep or awake at the same time, you're consciously aware of what goes on in your mind, and sometimes you'll tend to see what's going on in there. So that's kind of the dream that I had in 2025. So yeah, okay, let's move on. Then someone came up from behind me. It was Sadness. "Hey mate," he said calmly. I turned around to face him, and I said, "Hi." Sadness was surprised to see me, so he called out to the other emotions and said, "Hey everyone, look who's here." All the emotions come over and greeted me in. You wouldn't believe how glad they were to see me. They showed me around everywhere in the tower, and the thoughts are processed down the bottom, which determines my character. Well, it was called the thoughts of process. Now it's called the belief system. Yeah, somehow it changed its name in the story. I don't know who did it. But yeah, it used to be called the thoughts of process, now it's called the belief system. Yeah. That's why my neo-Gothic communist values exist. Okay, let's move on. I was certainly beginning to have interest in what goes on inside me. Later, when the tour was done, I was offered a cup of tea. I thought it was a great idea, so Joy set off to the kitchen to make tea. I was seated with the console right in front of me. I knew a few buttons on there, but I knew not to touch them. Well, maybe just one. You know me. Intrusive thoughts always win. I clicked on a button that had Archives as the name. From the side came a huge amount of bottled feelings. Boy, that's a whole lot of bottled feelings. I never knew I had so much, I said. Oh, you bottled them up at the age of 3. They've been sitting there for many an eon, Sadness said. Yeah, and when Sadness says 3, I meant the time when I was just a little microbe floating in space. Yeah, literally. There's one feeling you can release. You've had him since the Archean. It's uncertain what division he appeared, but if you released him, he'll tell ya, he offered. So I released the bottled emotion that had been sitting in there for billions of years. Yeah, old emotion, ancient grandpa and all that. What am I talking about? I'm so late. What am I talking about? Some of my body's literally made out of zircon rock, not gonna lie. Even though you don't see any green on it, it's internal. Okay, let's move on. Once he came out, he gave out a huge stretch and greatly yawned. Finally. I'm free, he said. I could tell he wanted to come out eventually. I knew that he was a very old emotion, so it's time that he got some fresh air. Why is there so much oxygen? What happened to all the carbon? The emotion said. I knew that I had to quickly react. I found a huge lever saying greenhouse carbon, so I grabbed it and shoved it on. That giant lever right there. Everything's a lever, even my arm. Even my arms are a lever. My legs are a lever. My hands are a lever, my feet are a lever. Everything. Let's go. Suddenly, things started to warm up very quickly. Anger went to the thermometer, and it read 53 degrees Celsius. And it was going up still. Everyone started to sweat. But I really didn't mind it at all. I've survived extremely hot days, especially ones that got up to 300 degrees Celsius. However, the temperature only got up to 85 degrees Celsius, so average Archean temperature, but unlike my dream, well, it probably did, it was very, very humid. You would be sweating away like a pig, literally. But knowing you, an average human, if they were sent back to the Archean, because of the lack of oxygen, they would die instantly. Yeah, even with the methane in the atmosphere because of the greenhouse effect. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on. That's better, the emotion said. Then he saw me and said, Oh, hey there, buddy. Do you remember me? I'm existential consciousness, he said. Yes, now I remember you. It's been a couple of eons since I last had you, I said. Oh yes, it's been about, I'm not sure, 3.9 billion years since I first met you, and since 2.7 billion BC, I've been put to rest when oxygen was lingering around, but I was still in control of your senses, existential consciousness said. Hence how I'd survived for so long despite harsh conditions, I said in excitement. Exactly, existential consciousness said. Yeah, so as microbes, existential conscious is literally the only emotion you would feel as microbes in the Archean eon. Now, I shouldn't be bothering you lot too much, so I'll head off into the greenhouse effect room, he said. No worries, you take care, bud, I said. You too, existential consciousness said. So he went off into the room he called home. Soon the greenhouse carbon switch was turned off. But things needed to cool down slowly, otherwise I could create a bad effect to myself. So, because Fia told me that Joy usually takes a while to make tea, I turned on the reproducer and the room slowly cooled down, but the oxygen did come quickly. However, everything was cool enough by the time Joy came out with a cup of tea and a couple of biscuits. I didn't mind the wait at all. Yeah, especially with existential consciousness's visit. Yep. Time flies when you're having fun. Yeah, that's why I'm already 19 years old. I'm literally stuck in 2011 right now. Or 2013, whatever you want it to be. Yeah, comment below what year you're stuck in. Like, I'm stuck in 2011, personally. I've been having too much fun in my life. I don't know why. Anyway, let's move on. As I relaxed by the console, the emotions hung by the back couch, talking about my presence. They were discussing about how I appeared. Perhaps he's just dreaming of seeing us, Fia said. Or should I say, perhaps they're just dreaming of seeing us, because I'm non-binary, remember? I will eventually get like 2 pins that one has the non-binary flag on it and another one says they them on it. Yeah, I'll probably already get it by the time this video comes out, but at the time of this recording I don't have it yet, so I'm gonna have to wait. That could be true. This guy's really interested in the place, Joy said. While they discussed, I then saw the archive button again. What would happen if I pressed it? Will I be archived? Will my current emotions be archived? Or will new emotions be released? Let's find out. Like I said, intrusive thoughts always win. So I pressed the button and new emotions came running out from the archive room. At the same time, a black hole emerged at the back of the console room. The original emotions quickly got sucked out by said black hole. And so did embarrassment, apparently. But they weren't gone eternally, just to the back of the mindset. I almost went with them, but I managed to hold on. I was so close to being ejected by my own causing. Oh my gosh. Heh, I just noticed a mistake. Yeah, I unfortunately cannot type so well anymore. Tells me I need to bite my hand like a vampire bites a neck. Oh well, that's life unfortunately. Digital dyslexia. It then got dark. I can tell that I've hit a dark point in my life. Yeah, hence the neo-goth. I know I've managed that before, but it came to a level I never expected it to be on. I'll be okay though. So, yeah. Though quite recently, I have had emotional storms, so, yeah. Kind of felt like I wanted to tell you guys, so, yeah. I noticed the released emotions at the console. I went up to them. That's where I met anxiety, one of the most beautiful emotions I've ever met. Hey, I was hoping you'd release us someday, she said. You must be anxiety, I said. That's me, she said. You know who they are over there? I asked. One of them is shyness. Be careful around her, because she doesn't like loud noise. We also have smartness, who knows everything about you, anxiety said. How interesting. And who are your comrades over there? I asked as I looked to the sofa. Yeah, I've literally got a couch right next to me. They came up and introduced themselves. I'm Loneliness, and this is Tiredness. Loneliness said, Nice to meet you. I'm Van Thursday, but you can just call me Geisters. That's going to be my name eventually. You two are very chill, I added. Yes, we are. We enjoy it, Tiredness said. So, as it looks like it, since the original emotions made their way to the back of the mindset, I'm guessing that you now lead us on, I said. Yes, I'm leading us on as of now, Anxiety said. Cool, I said. So yeah, you see the name Van Thursday on my shirt here? You probably can barely see it, but yeah, do you see it? Van Thursday is kind of like a writer's name that I use in stories, so yeah. My actual name will eventually be Geisters. It's the German plural for ghost, if you don't know. Okay, let's move on. Then, Shyness, who stood about a third of my height, came up to me and wanted me to come and see Smartness. When I went up to Smartness, I saw that the emotion, who was definitely a third of my height, was a girl who apparently had a detachable head. I was stunned by this. Hey mate, I'm Smartness, the emotion who knows everything you know, Smartness said. I was kind of scared. Yeah, my biggest fear is mind readers, I'm not gonna lie. What's your biggest fear? Comment below. Okay, let's move on. I asked her, do you even know my darkest secrets? Not really. I never actually got to know them, as they are commonly forgotten by you, Smartness said. Q knows though. She definitely knows. Oh, and she convinces me with it every night. And I always let her get away with it because I know how much I love her, so yeah. Yeah, I'm saying this because look at my ring here. I'm married, so yeah, let's move on. Internally, I was relieved to hear that, but I was still worried that she wanted to find out, so I never said a word around them, while still being as polite as I could, circling around it. I soon went back to the console, where Anxiety was standing. As I gently rested my hand on her shoulder, I said, if you're a really passionate leader like I am, you'd be really good. As I did tell her that, she was really surprised. She must have thought that we're already good friends, and that's true. Yeah, I'll be honest, Anxiety is a good friend of mine. Yeah, I love being anxious. You really think that? Anxiety asked. Yeah, you and I would get along really well, I stated. Anxiety began to feel a soft yet silent burst of joy, like as if she felt love for the first time. And this is where love comes in. From behind us stood a tall girl, pink with long hair. Oh, hey there, I'm Love, she said. Hey Love, I'm Van Thursday. Nice to meet ya, I said. I can see that you're very passionate, I added. That's so true. I feel passionate for a lot of people, especially you, Love said. I felt what she said, and it was enlightening. Well, thank you for saying that. I really appreciate it, I said. Love smiled. Now that you have us all here, I think it's time for a little quiz. See if you can guess our strategic roles, Anxiety said. I was up for it. Okay, so what's my strategic role? Anxiety asked. You're a leader, so basically you would be the everyday emotion, I said. That's right, Anxiety said. Next emotion to be quizzed was Tiredness. You're basically the emotion who acts when I'm low on energy or if I have a headache, especially when it comes to sleeping for a long time. Oh, hey Tiredness, glad you're coming to watch. Yeah, man, Tiredness said. He literally would have said that. Yeah, he's a good fella. The next emotion to be quizzed was loneliness. You're the emotion that acts when I need some time on my own. Or if I do feel lonely myself, I said. That's exactly right, loneliness said. So far, I think I'm doing pretty well. Next emotion to be quizzed was shyness. I gave my answer quietly. You're the emotion who knows if one thing is uncertain or rather someone, because I know I felt shy around some other people sometimes. I whispered to her. Shyness nods her head. Next emotion to be quizzed was smartness. You're easy. You basically know everything I know and can easily work out the answer required in a certain amount of time, I said. You, my friend, are correct, smartness said. Then at last but not least, love. You always play a strategic role when it comes to my girl ghost, or wife if you like. You're the one who generates a lot of passion towards someone or something, and yeah, I can say Queanbeyan as an example, or Q if you like. You all know about the relationship between me and her, and how it's lasted for more than 4 years now. We really love each other, I said. Yes, love said cheerfully. Yeah, on our 4th anniversary of relationship, that's literally when Q got married. That one time when I did a Minecraft episode, literally as we were about to end it, I got a phone call, and guess what? She had proposed to me over the phone, literally. Best news I've heard all my life. She literally did propose to me over the phone. And I did cry, literally. Oh, best day I've ever lived. Well, one of the best days I've ever lived, not gonna lie. The best day I've literally ever lived is November 16th, 2024. Reason why? Never got tired, saw the supermoon, and it was easily memorable, so yeah. Okay, let's move on. This quiz was kind of easy. I got through with flying colours. However, if there's any other emotions, I have to say what their roles are, which was what anxiety wants me to do. Ooh, sorry about that. I don't mind, as long as it doesn't cause any problems, that's all. Meanwhile, Joy and the crew were finding their way around the back of the mindset. It's literally a title. Oh man, I reckon it's gonna take a long time to get back in the headquarters, Joy said. Sadness started crying. Guys, do not worry, because I don't know why I said that. Guys, do not worry, because through reading the map multiple times in case we got lost, I know exactly the way back to headquarters, Fia said. Excellent, Bud. Lead the way, Joy said. Back in the tower, Smartness was on her computer, working through the files which holds everything I know. I know I shouldn't be spying on her, but I need to see what she's up to on that computer. Like Kim Jong-un watches every citizen. Good thing for you, since there are the emotions in my head. For every being in the mindset, I can read their minds. This can really help with discovering what Smartness is doing. However, since she is very smart, she can detect whether someone is reading her mind. I then thought up of a plan. If anyone in the mindset who is very smart and knows how to protect, I have the ability to turn off their detection skills. So that's what I did to Smartness. Suddenly, Smartness felt a little lightheaded. She started feeling dizzy and her head started moving around as if she had vertigo. I knew I had to time this right. Once her head was in the right spot, I targeted my mind-reading skills towards her, and as I had found out, she was looking for my darkest secrets. Only because I mentioned him earlier. Soon enough, Smartness had fainted, falling unconscious for at least a decent amount of time. I quickly got out my phone and scrolled frantically to find my darkest secrets folder. Once I found it, I activated the most secure lock on this folder. Only I could access it now, and no one else, especially Smartness. I then sent protection of mind reading back to Smartness. She woke up frightened. I knew I had to act fast, so I quickly made my way to Smartness. "Hey Van Thursday, is everything okay?" Anxiety asked. "Yep, I saw something strange happen in Smartness, so I'll go check it out for you. In the meantime, do you want to fetch her a cup of water?" I asked. "No worries," Anxiety said. Water is always brain power, trust me. Yeah, I should take a drink of water after this. Yeah. In case one have a good dream in the night. As I saw Smartness, she looked dazed. "You okay, Smartness?" I asked. Smartness quickly turned to face me, slightly frightened, but she was relieved afterwards. "Oh, Van Thursday, I was going to say, I can barely remember anything," Smartness said. "I think you might be a bit tired. Would you like me to take you to your room?" I offered her. "Yes, please. I'm still feeling dizzy and kind of worn out, like as if I have vertigo or something, I don't know," Smartness said. "No worries," I said. So I escorted Smartness to her room. On the way there, I saw Anxiety with a cup of water. "Hey, Anxiety, you don't mind coming in... I don't know why I said that. You don't mind coming to Smartness's room for me? She needs a rest," I said. Anxiety complied and followed along. When we got to the room of Smartness, it was very dark. My sort of vibe. But I got the light on so you can see me. From there, we put her to rest on her bed. "You want a drink?" Anxiety asked as she offered her the cup of water. "Oh, sorry about that." "Yes, please," Smartness said. Smartness drank the water out of the cup. All of it. "Don't worry, I still have my giant water bottle with me, and it's full," Smartness said. Me and Anxiety understood. Smartness soon fell asleep and was already in deep sleep. We left the room without disturbing her. Once we came back to the main room, we noticed an emotion, all white, not smiling nor frowning, feeling rather calm. "You must be Neutrality. You're the feeling who helps keep me calm, knows how to keep things cool, and certainly knows how to help me zone out on things," I said. "Oh, I'm so sorry. I don't know why I keep yawning. I gotta breathe in more oxygen." "Correct," Neutrality said. "He's not Uncharted, nor is in the team. He's just his own self," Anxiety said. "I tend to visit often, which is normal," Neutrality said. "That's true," Anxiety said. "But I promise you, I'll never bother anyone," Neutrality stated. "He's a good person," Tiredness said. I thought he was an okay person as well, not gonna lie. Though there are some emotions who sit in the Uncharted zone. There's horny, jealousy, and spooky, Anxiety said. So, yeah, horny is literally one of the names of the characters. Like this character represents strength, literally. Horny is the one who generates strength. That last happening on November 26th, 2024. Jealousy just basically envies what another person has, but I haven't felt him since March 2024. And spooky is the one to frighten others, last actually happening on November 2nd, 2024, I explained. "That's right," Anxiety said. So this is literally at the time of when the story's set. So, yeah. Suddenly, as I did mention the uncharted emotions, Spooky showed up. Ah, Spooky, Anxiety said. Yes, it is I, Spooky. Now, Van Thursday, I heard about you mentioning us, and you knew of our roles. But can you guess how often we come over? Spooky asked. How often, you ask? Well, you come every 65 days and on Halloween. Horny doesn't come out for like every 243rd day. Embarrassment doesn't show up often either, showing up every 836 days. Jealousy shows up typically every 1,315 to 2,320 days, long time. Neutrality shows up every 5 to 10 days. And the other emotion, which is existential consciousness, is the one who shows up very rarely. Every 36,503 to 1 trillion and 95 billion days, which is between 100 and 3 million years, I explained. Spooky was remarked by this. Impressive. Damn, this guy's smart. I like him, she said. Anxiety started to feel anxious herself. Spooky could definitely say that she's more impressed than anyone else. And she knew all your roles as well? Spookiness asked. Loneliness nods her head. Damn, really good this person is, Spooky remarked. Hang on, you should guess the role of the original emotions as well, Anxiety told me. Well, Joy's the one who keeps spirits high. Sadness knows how to connect to other feelings and to me. Anger is the one who likes to rage on things. Disgust keeps me away from things that are rather unpleasant. Yeah, especially when I had to drop in the sink. And fear knows how to protect and serve, I explained. Dang, you're literally smarter than Einstein, aren't you? Spooky said. It's true. My intelligence quotient is 215, I stated. Oh wow, that is huge, Spooky remarked. Yeah, it's true. My IQ is literally 215. So, I can work out a math problem before anyone else can. Yeah. But I'm gonna be brutally honest. You know, I see those kids working out math problems, but doing this crazy thing with their hands and all that. I literally think, albeit this is the most strangest way that anybody could ever do maths, to me it's just so cringe. Like, I couldn't think of a more stupid way of doing this, even though it really helps them. Oh, I'm getting a pain in my head thinking about it. But anyway, let's not worry about it. Let's move on with the story. Now I know why you come every 65 days, I said to Spooky. Spooky then felt kind of scared. What's that? She asked. Revenge on grudges, I said. How does they know? Spooky said in complete shock. Remember the song I'm a Little Garnet? I pointed out. Spooky fell silent. Yep, this person's right, Spooky said quietly. All the other emotions were shocked. Is that really true? Anxiety asked. Yes, you should know the most recent one, I said. Remember the 12 Hours War and September 8th, 2023? I can tell you this. No peace deal had ever been made, I said. How do you think this tension between yourself and said grudge is going to end? Anxiety asked. Suddenly, as a random appearance, the grudge I told the emotions about has appeared out the window. You're about to find out, I said. So I opened the window, leapt out, and grabbed for my grudge. Little Miss Garnet. We fell towards the bottom of what's called the Forgotten Area. The emotions ran to the window balcony and saw me falling towards the Forgotten Area, tightly holding my grudge. Dang, looks like the final fight has begun, Love said, and that's true. As I held my grudge so tight, I smashed into the ground of the Forgotten Area so hard, an earthquake was sent to the back of the mindset, where the original emotions were located. At the back of the mindset, a lot of shaking went on, and the original emotions knew that they had to leg it out of there before anything fell on top of them. Good thing for you, they made it out just in time before the shelves in the back of the mindset had officially collapsed. The most explosive memories kept there blew up within the collapsing shelves, reducing everything to atoms. Only thing is, the things that I've forgotten to do that had to be remembered was never reminded of again. I knew that this might have been one of the hugest mistakes I would have ever made, but this is to end a conflict, once and for all. The emotions could barely see what's going on down there, since they saw a lot of smoke arising from the Forgotten Area. So, Anxiety quickly grabbed the telescope. Loneliness looked through the telescope and saw what was a fiery battle. Anxiety, look! They're using flamethrowers, she called to Anxiety. To Anxiety's surprise, we were using flamethrowers. For every shot fired, different forgotten memories were burning away. As soon as the grudge fired the next shot, I saw that it was heading straight towards a forgotten memory, which I noticed that it was a memory about my bestest friend, shining the brightest yellow. I quickly ran for the memory and grabbed it. Since I saw that fireball going towards that bright yellow memory, I was like, oh shoot, I better grab that memory. It's literally, if it hits that, I'm literally gonna forget. Man, I'll always remember Bridget. She was the bestest friend I've ever had. We literally almost became boyfriend and girlfriend in primary school. Almost. But, yeah, somehow, my mind did not have the urge to go that far. That's childhood, I suppose. But then, as I did grab the memory, the fireball heading to it had struck me on the back. My shirt started to burn. If it was the end for me, I only had one thing left to do. So, I grabbed a powerful rifle for which I built myself and fired directly towards the grudge. Bang! As soon as you knew it, they fell dead. I knew that this would happen because through training, I would always get an accurate shot. Yeah. So be careful when I use nuclear weapons, bro. Only thing I had to deal with is the fire on my back. Suddenly, I felt a bucket of water strike from behind. Guess who threw it? Joy did. I turned around slowly and to my surprise, it really was Joy, as he was holding a bucket. Joy, thank goodness. If it wasn't for you, I would be dead, I said. No worries, mate. Let's get you back up there, Joy said. I then asked him, where are the other emotions? They should be coming. They're just coming through the subconscious area. It'll lead right through to the belief system, Joy said. See? First thoughts are processed, now belief system. It's all changed. Soon as anxiety took power. Sounds good, I said. We both went back to the tower. Meanwhile, the other emotions were going up a huge amount of stairs in the subconscious. Oh, how long are we gonna be here? Sadness groaned. We'll get there, don't you worry, Fear said. This has taken forever, Anger complained. Finally, the emotions see a door. Oh, finally. We're getting out of here, Disgust said. Once they were at the door, Fear opened it, only to find that they had to cross the Field of Nightmares. This field contains the characters from every single nightmare I've ever had. From the tallest monsters to the worst enemies, this field is packed. It was going to be a challenge. Through the monster ball pitch, tracking across the haunted graveyards, running through the rabbit trenches, tracking across the house of enemies, running across the hills of ghosts, and the unrecognised state of National Socialist Land for Grudges. Even the totalitarian G-Top was there. So it's like Little Miss Garnet, but she represents you-know-who. I'm not going to say it, otherwise YouTube's going to come for me on this one. Lot of far-rightist activity happening there. That's all I can say. The emotions had to go through all that, literally. It was a pretty rocky ride, I'll tell you now. Remind me not to go back there, Disgust said. Don't worry, we're not going back there anytime soon, Fear said. Yeah. Knowing me, if I had created an Inside Out 1.5, I would have probably nuked the Field of Nightmares. Yeah. But I didn't write it, so. Soon as April comes, we're going straight to Inside Out 2. Yeah. Number 2. Not like, you know what I mean. Okay, let's move on. Soon as they approached the door to the belief system, they noticed a small hill hut, which contained the darkest secrets I hold. This was a particular location to keep every secret, well, a secret. However, since it was the most secure place in the mindset, it was locked away completely and completely surrounded by highly sensitive automated weapons. Anyone who would dare to enter would get shot down. The emotions knew that they had to be careful around this area. However, Anger was not deterred. He was really desperate to find out what's inside that hut. As soon as he had his hand on the handle, a shot was fired, and Anger quickly fell down. Fear knew that he had to get him out of there before any more shots were fired. So quickly, Fear went to grab Anger and darted away from the hut before he had the possibility of being shot as well. Soon, the emotions made it to the end of the Field of Nightmares. Once Fear opened the door, they were there, the belief system. They quickly made their way to the tower's elevator and made their way up to headquarters. Once they were there, they were so glad to have finally arrived back home. Finally, we're back, Fear exclaims in relief. I really missed headquarters, Sadness said. I can now have a rest. I'm so tired, Disgust said. Yeah, and Disgust literally decided to take an afternoon nap from there. Soon, Fear noticed me, all charred and burned. What happened here? Asked the surprised Fear. Been in a flamethrower battle, I said. It was literally a battle between Van Thursday and the Grudge, Joy said. I nodded my head in agreement. Dang, I reckon you should have a lot of cold water poured onto you, Fear said. See? He knows how to protect me. He knows how to protect and serve, I said to the other emotions. Fear smiled. I know I know that he always thinks of the right things. Then I saw Anger, who also looks like he's been in a battle as well. What happened to you? I asked him. Got shot, Anger said. Fear came to me and told me the whole story of Anger trying to enter the hut, for which contained every dark secret I hold. I was not that impressed with Anger. He should know better than to be intrusive. Intrusive thoughts always win in the mind. Anyway, how about that cold water? Fear asked. Let's do it, I said. So I got out a fairly sized pool tub, and with a snap of the fingers, I was in my bathers. And my earplugs were in, so don't worry. Better be safe than sorry. Yeah, unfortunately there is this thing where I can literally get ear infections just by getting water into my ear. That's the unfortunate thing. And it's not just for chlorine, it's for it's like literally for whenever water enters my ear. Yeah. It's such a pain just having to lie. It's such a pain just having to tilt your head and lie in the bed for half an hour. Oh, just when you're trying to find the most comfortable spot. Yeah, well, that's life, unfortunately. Okay. As soon as Fear climbed up to the top of the 1 meter tall pool, I called out to him, How cold is the water? 39 degrees Fahrenheit, he said. What's that in Celsius? I called to him. 4 degrees, he said. Oh boy, it's gonna get cold. I wouldn't mind a 4-degree tip though. What am I talking about? I like it when the air temperature's 4 degrees. I've never had 4-degree water poured onto me, apart from in my mouth. Yeah, I drank water at 4 degrees. Yeah, literal refrigerated water. That's how it was. Oh well, what are you gonna do? Are you ready for it? Fear asked me. Go for it, I called out to him. The 4-degree water poured straight down onto me. It literally felt so cold I could barely feel my fingers. At least it was worth chilling off that burn. I'm gonna be empathetic there. At least it got the job done. You might need some after sun, Fear said. I think that's a good idea, I said. I then saw a bucket load of after sun gel. Where'd you get all that? I asked. Delivery from the train, Fear said. He then went on to pour all the after sun gel on my back. That too felt cold, just like the water. But the gel was really useful. It made its way around my back and onto my shoulders. I knew that I had to lay down flat for a few minutes to let it settle in. Saying that, I can remember the time when it literally got to below 0 degrees in my suburb. I'll be honest, I loved it. I have never felt below 0 degree weather before. It was the best feeling ever. And guess what? It snowed during the night, though the crystals might have been about that small. I hear it actually once snowed in this but before that it did actually snow sometime in September 2023, if I remember correctly. It literally snowed and somehow it was still 13 degrees. Those ice crystals must have been really, really, really tiny. But I literally saw it out the window. Wow. I have never seen snow in real life with my own eyes. Oh, well. I would love to go to a place that's below 0. Ugh. Time passed, and until about 10 minutes later, the gel had completely settled onto my back and shoulders. I felt relieved after all that I went through down that pool. I knew Fear was relieved as well. I'm glad to have him here. If it wasn't for him, I would be dead. Then Fear called out to me and said, "You can come out now, you're all good." So I made my way out the pool. Soon enough, with a snap of my fingers, I was in light clothing, in case the gel still needed time to sell some more. Man, I felt so great. I then told Fear, "Thank you so much for all your help. Is there anything I can do to return the favour?" "I think a cup of tea would be a good idea, but don't make it too hot," Fear asked. "No worries, mate. I'll get a cup of tea for you," I said. "What flavour would you like?" I asked him. How about your special? I've never tried it before," Fear suggests. "Sure thing," I said. I then turned to Joy and said, "Come with me, Joy. I just want to show you something." Joy then followed me to the kitchen. I wanted to show him the quickest way to make tea. So I showed him every step and wrote it down as well in case he forgot. The tea that I made was my special blue lavender tea, which included a ghosteberry flavour. It's something I'd do for Q every night. She loves it. Soon, I come out with a cup of tea that Fear asked for. I followed his recommendations and it wasn't too hot. That's because I've added milk. The milk should be able to make the tea cold enough for Fear to drink. Or should I say cool enough? I included a biscuit for him to eat. Apparently biscuit had to have a capital. German nouns, I'm afraid. I reckon he'll enjoy it though, that's the thing. "Hey Fear, I have your cup of tea," I said. "Nice, what flavour is it?" "It's blue lavender tea with one of my most secret ingredients," I said. "Can't wait to try it," Fear said. As soon as he tried it, he immediately started to enjoy it. Every sip was savoured and truly loved. "Oh, this is fantastic. And he even added 1 sugar. How did you know?" Fear asked. "I knew about your tea recommendations, so I took them seriously," I said. "Ooh, holy dolly." "How did your special tea come to be?" Fear asked. "Well, it all started with my girl ghost, or wife if you like. She gives me a lot of ghost berries, so I started to think about what to do about them. Finally, an idea came. Why not I make ghosteberry tea? So I made ghosteberry tea, and once I offered it to her, she immediately adored it," I said. "And how did that expand you to make blue lavender tea?" Fear asked. "Well, it started with original lavender, for which I included the ghosteberry flavour in. Once I offered it to Q, she really liked it. But then I thought, why use original lavender when you could use blue lavender as a flavour? So when I offered it to Q in December of 2024, she was unsure at first, but once she tried it, she told me, "Mate, that's the best flavoured tea you've ever created." And I was quite proud of this, I explained. "So this is the tea that Queen Bean loves a lot, and it has ghosteberry flavour in it?" Fear asked. "That's right. It does have ghosteberry flavour in it. That's why you like it so much," I said. "Very interesting," Fear remarked. So in the end, everything worked out pretty well. Everything became pretty chill and everyone enjoyed each other's company and worked together to bring the best. Only thing that became new to them was the arrival of a new emotion. It came as a huge surprise to Anxiety, since they've not expected them to come about. "They look a bit bored," Sadness said. "Who are you?" Loneliness asked. "The name's ennui. It's what you would call boredom," this new emotion said. "Man,
I think you're pretty cool, getting to relax all day and whatnot, Tiredness said. Agreed, said Loneliness. Tiredness and Loneliness got to know Ennui quite well, and to our surprise, Ennui wasn't all about boredom. Ennui wasn't all about boredom. She actually got to move around a lot and talk to the other emotions. The only time she would ever get bored is during the night. Most of the time, she's quite an energetic teenage girl. Yeah, one of the best emotions. Oh, my satisfaction, 100%. As I processed through my life, through interesting events and times of turmoil, I knew of the strong partnership between all the emotions. It was the cooperation from all of them that brought together the true feelings towards a lot of things. Until the arrival of the next emotion comes, everything is pretty much smooth sailing for me. Who knows what or who else might appear in the mindset? That's only a story for another day. And there you go. That is the end of my version of Inside Out, the first story. And of course, I wrote the characters in alphabetical order. Hooly dooly. Let's do this. I'll introduce them to you. I've listed them from 1 through to 28, although why did I include countries into the credits? Okay. Not. Why? Why is the Russo-Ukrainian war getting involved in this? Okay. 1 through to 25. Let's go. The characters in alphabetical order. Anger, anxiety, Bridget Brown. Delivery train. Hey, the train's a character. Disgust, embarrassment, ennui, existential consciousness, fear, horny, jealousy, joy, loneliness, love, neutrality, Olivia. Q, sadness, shyness, smartness, spooky, Little Miss Garnet, tiredness, the X-Men, and, of course, me. Those are all the characters mentioned in the story. Hope you enjoyed it. I really hope you did. I tell ya, it's one heck of a story. And soon as I make this one come out, I'll make sure that as soon as April comes, you're going to hear the second story, for which I've already done the recording. This recording is kind of like a redo, since I accidentally got rid of the first one just to save space. But yeah, literally, I hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, comment below your favourite parts, and yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. So, thank you for watching, everyone. My name is Van Thursday, or you can call me Geistus if you like. And I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Bye for now.